WECT's Ann McAdams joins us now with information on a K-9 officer that was cleared after being accused of using too much force in an arrest. Ann?
John and Fran, Officer Stafford Brister could have faced criminal assault charges for releasing his dog on a suspect during an incident after that suspect fled a DWI checkpoint. But after reviewing the dash cam video of what happened, the grand jury decided that Officer Brister acted appropriately. This stems from an incident on Halloween night when authorities say Johnny Williams fled from a DWI checkpoint in downtown Wilmington. That prompted a chase that was caught on video by the Sable helicopter. When the chase ended, Officer Brister believed Williams was still a danger and released a police dog who attacked Williams' face and shoulder. That same grand jury that decided not to indict Officer Brister for assault did indict the suspect in that case today. Johnny Williams was just indicted for assault with a deadly weapon on a government official and felony fleeing to elude arrest. And other charges as well, but those were two of the highlights. We can tell you that about 5 minutes ago, the Wilmington Police Department released dash cam video of the incident where the police dog attacked. We are going to download that video and hope to have it for you on air on our sister station at 6:30 tonight on Fox Wilmington. We will definitely have it for you by 11 on WECT. That is the latest from the courthouse here. Ann McAdams, WECT News.
Debate tonight over whether an officer's actions were reasonable or excessive.
For the first time, we're seeing the dash cam video that shows the end of a police chase that left a suspect injured. WECT's Ashley Kozakowski begins our team coverage tonight by showing the video and breaking down the case. Ashley?
Yeah, this is the video right here that the grand jury saw. We want to play it for you. This is the end of the chase, and in it you see the officer doing a pit maneuver. Then you see the suspect, Johnny Williams. His hands go up in the air. But that's when, just moments later, an officer pushes a police dog into the window there. That officer bites down on Williams, causing some injuries. We want to show you that video again. Just take a look. The dramatic end to a police chase caught on dash cam. The pit maneuver stops Johnny Williams' car. Then, Wilmington police officer Stafford Brister lifts a police K-9 into that car. A grand jury made up of 15 people watched this video several times before deciding to clear the officer of any criminal wrongdoing. District Attorney Ben David said he wanted a grand jury to decide if Officer Brister should be charged with assault inflicting serious injury.
I believe that it was a close enough legal question that the community should get to decide whether the use of force was reasonable, and that I would not rule as a matter of law that it was.
David says Williams tried to run over 3 officers during this chase. Today, the grand jury indicted Williams on charges of being a habitual felon, assault with a deadly weapon, and other traffic violations. We talked with Williams after the incident. He admitted to making mistakes, but told us he didn't deserve to have the dog unleashed on him.
I didn't have an opportunity to raise my hand all the way because the dog that came to the driver's side window and bite me. And he hold on to me it was at least about 30 or 40 seconds before the guy came and got him off my shoulder. I wish they would have just took me peacefully and arrest me, because that's what I was trying to do.
Even though the officer was cleared of criminal charges, Chief Ralph Evangelist says there's still an internal investigation underway.
And sometimes the job we do is not very pretty. It's just the facts. I mean, there are sometimes bad guys out there who are violent. The K-9 incident is still pending, and administratively, there's an administrative investigation going on as we speak.
But as far as the criminal charges, David says this case is closed.
That use of force could be called into question by reasonable people looking at it. And I'll let the people watching at home tonight, who I'm sure are going to watch this tape multiple times, decide for themselves whether they believe force was reasonably necessary.
And you can watch that tape again right now on WECT.com. The officer involved in this case, Officer Brister, is on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of that internal investigation. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Ashley Kozakowski, WECT News.
Now tonight, members of the NAACP say they're hoping that an internal investigation will yield a different outcome than the grand jury's decision today. Deborah Maxwell, who is the president of the local chapter, watched the video for the first time right here in the WECT newsroom. Maxwell says while she respects the grand jury's decision, she says there are too many unanswered questions.
If he could have gotten that close to push the dog in the car, Couldn't he have physically subdued the man himself? And what was the time frame before he called the dog back? Because the dog answers to the response of the handler.
Maxwell said tonight her bigger concern is how the public, especially members of the African American community, will react. With the recent deadly shootings involving police officers, she's worried this video could cause problems.
There's going to be some negative reaction, unfortunately, Francis. I'm concerned because we have to try and unite as a community to realize that law enforcement is here to protect us.
Now, once again, you can watch that video on our website right now. Go to WECT.com. We begin tonight with the man in the middle of a local video that is getting national attention. Wilmington police officer Stafford Brister can't comment on what happened here at a traffic stop ending a police chase.
But his attorney does have plenty to say about it. Mike McGinnis spoke exclusively with WECT's Craig Reck, who is live with Brister's side of the story tonight. Craig?
John and Fran, J. Michael McGinnis has represented law enforcement officers for about 20 years. This matter was closed in court, and tonight we're asking him many of the same questions you raised after seeing the tape for yourselves.
And the lucky one from all of this, yes, I understand Mr. Williams got a dog bite. He's lucky he didn't have his brains blown out.
Attorney Michael McGinnis says Officer Stafford Brister and the other law enforcement officers could have used deadly force at any time during the 10-minute chase of Johnny Williams. But they didn't. I asked McGinnis why, when it ends, did Officer Brister release his K-9 when it appears that the suspect, Williams, has surrendered.
He was watching his dog. He was not in a position to see the hand maneuver that Mr. Williams used.
Even if Brister had seen the hands go up, McGinnis says it would not matter. He says the best way to show you're giving up, to show you're not hiding anything, is to stick your hands out the window.
See, a lot of law enforcement officers have been murdered with criminal suspects like this with long violent histories. It goes like this, boom.
The dog attacks and officers try to enter on the other side. So I asked what others who have seen this video have asked. Why not call the dog off at that point?
The dog shouldn't be released until it is completely determined that there's no weapon within reach of the suspect.
McGinnis says it's a matter of safety for the officers, including Brister.
He puts his life on the line every day for Wilmingtonians, and I do have a fear that his reputation will take a beating.
There could be a civil lawsuit here.
And the national attention might not help. McGinnis says he worries people seeing this quick clip won't understand the 10-minute police chase that led up to it.
The fear that I have from the general public seeing a clip of the very end of this is that you don't get the history of the true Johnny Williams. The true Johnny Williams was an absolute terrorist on the streets of Wilmington that night.
Brister's attorneys asked that he be heard during the grand jury process yesterday, but the judge denied the request. McGinnis says you won't find many people suspected of a crime who are willing to explain their actions in detail. Now, this video might have national attention, but McGinnis says he's not worried about a federal investigation. He says they'll cooperate with whoever wants the details. Reporting live in the studio, Craig Reck, WECT News.
You probably remember this dash cam video of a Wilmington police officer throwing a K-9 into a suspect's car following a chase. Now, after that incident, the department transferred the dog's handler out of the K-9 squad and deemed the German Shepherd surplus property. But as WECT's Justin Smith reports, the dog has found a new home where he can continue to fight crime. And we're getting a first look at him in action.
Koss, the 5-year-old German Shepherd, arrived here in Fair Bluff late last week after Wilmington City Council voted to transfer him to this small town's police department, a department that is glad to have the K-9 join their force.
I've seen this dog work before. This dog is awesome.
That's Fair Bluff's Police Chief Daryl Trivett, who says it's rare for a small town to have such a highly trained dog. Wilmington officials say they paid $9,000 for Koss and believe he can work another 3 years. Now, here in Fair Bluff, the K-9 will help locate drugs and track suspects. Trivett says the dog is very friendly, and right now the two are still getting to know one another.
We have to learn to read each other because he's going to read off of me as much as I'm going to read off of him. All I got to do is stand back and watch him mainly, just hold a leash. I'm basically the dummy with the leash.
But to the chief's credit, he does have more than a decade of dog handling experience, most recently with the Carolina Beach Police Department before starting here in Fair Bluff earlier this year. Reporting in Columbus County, Justin Smith, WECT News.